Alright, this is my video for sprint number 7 of the fully functioning wave manager. Looking here, first off I have my wave.txt data, which has a template so I can remember what order the data should be in, which it reads line by line, skipping anything with the tildes. But down here I have wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3. First thing that happens in the scene is that the game manager is initialized, which will then initialize the other critter manager and centipede manager and the wave manager. Then we'll launch in the menu, which will set the menu state, set the current player, initialize for the menu, and then spawn the player, which is the current player. In the menu state, if I press enter, I will call player delete and delete the AI player, and then launch into one player mode, which down here just sets the state, clears the screen, does kind of a rough field regen that will just reset all poisoned and damaged mushrooms, adding in the score. We'll set the player, we'll decrease 1 life for the first spawn, we'll initialize the HUD for that player and then spawn the player. In the actual wave manager, when we call initialize is when the wave data reading will happen. So I will spawn a wave data structure for every total wave that there is. So there's 3 total, and then I'll call read wave data down here, which will read through the wave data.txt. And anytime, once I've found a wave, I will read through and I will set those inside the current waves data field, and then I will set those values inside the waves to the actual variables. Then going back to the game manager. When I set player is when the actual wave stuff will start. So when I call set player, I will set my current player to that number in the player array, so it would be player 1 for the first one. And the wave manager will call set wave on that player's current wave, which all players start at wave 0, which would be the first wave, so we'll call set wave at 0. And that will just call the set data in the critter manager and centipede manager at 0, and then we'll call private start wave, which will start the spawning inside those managers. Oops. If we look at these set datas, we'll just take in the number for the current wave and we will load the wave data from that wave, and then we will set our values equal to that data. And then these start functions will then start the alarms to randomly spawn the critters. There is no flee at the moment since I do not have a working check for the player bounds, but I'm trying to get that working. Inside the actual centipede manager, there is the same set data that will set the centipede data to the relative wave data that we're looking at. At any time centipede dies, we'll call report death to the manager, which will decrease the count, and if there are no more centipedes, then we'll stop the sound and we'll call wave clear, meaning we've finished that wave. And with wave clear, we'll just clear the screen, regen the fields, and then we'll call player advance, and player advance will just increase the account for the current wave. So yes, the next wave will add to the wave and we won't go above the max wave, and then we'll just call set wave again on the current player number. So we'll start the next wave, and if we're at the max wave, we'll just set that wave again and start it again. And then anytime a player dies, it will call into the player manager, private report death, which will call player death in the game manager. Which will clear the screen, regen the field. If I'm in the menu, just spawn again and start the wave over. This checks to see if that was the last life. If it was, then we clear the score and go back to the menu, and otherwise we'll respawn and start the wave again. So if we start this, the initial load is slow on this one.